Thank y'all so much. So the year is 1992. I know, way before your time. I know. The month is March, and I am 13 years old, and it is March Madness, and I am a fanatic. I'm loving it because I'm getting ready to watch the Elite Eight round in my room, and I'm so excited and I'm super pumped because the SEC team Kentucky is getting ready to represent, and they are getting ready to go up against the number one team in the league, Duke University. Now, let's just get this straight. Let's get this straight right now. I have never been, nor will I ever be, a Pukey Dookie fan, right? I'm not a fan of Duke, okay? So I was so pumped because I just knew, this was going to be an awesome game. And so the game has started, and I'm in my room, and I remember I'm sitting there, and I can't just sit for a game. I'm standing and sitting and standing and sitting and pacing, and, that's kind of what I do. And first half of the game, Duke is ahead. Like, Duke's got a really good margin on them, and I'm just, I'm frustrated because I'm hoping Kentucky's going to be able to make a comeback, but it just doesn't look like it. So then we go into the second half, and Duke is still ahead. They are dominating. It's looking grim for Kentucky. And then about 5 minutes left in the game, and Kentucky starts making a comeback, right? And I am getting so excited because they're getting closer and closer and closer. And the final buzzer sounds, and it is tied up. It's tied up, right, guys? Micah, thanks. And we're going into overtime. And I'm so excited because at this point now, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game. The script is whoever wants to write it. And so the overtime begins. It's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And Kentucky's up by 1 point, 103 to 102. A couple seconds left in the game. And I'm on the edge of my seat. And so I watch this happen. And that is why I am not a Christian Laettner fan. My hopes were dashed. Kentucky had lost. But I learned a huge lesson that night. I learned a huge lesson that night, and that's this, is that just when you think you know how the final outcome is going to be, most of the time, there's a flip in the script. There's a flip in the script, and you have no idea what it's going to be. Have you ever found yourself in a situation like that, where a circumstance was looking like this, and then it's like out from nowhere, something comes in and everything changes, and you have no idea how you're going to be able to come back from that? Because Matt alluded to that last week as we started our new series, is the idea that a setback can really be a set up for a comeback. And so those flips in the script a lot of times can seem like that setback, that you just don't know how you're going to be able to come back from it. What are you going to do? Well, tonight we're going to look at a guy that you probably heard before. Some of you maybe not. But we're going to see in his life, and his life, I love his story. In fact, he's my favorite character in the Bible because I feel like I so resonate with it. I so connect to him because there's so many different flips in his script. There's so many turns and twists. And I think maybe you can resonate from that too. His name is Joseph. Not New Testament Joseph, like Mary and Joseph, but Old Testament Joseph, all right? And when I was thinking about his story and just the twists and the turns that it seems to take, it kind of reminded me of a toy that I used to play with as a kid. No, not a Furby. No. Yeah, one of these things right here. Yeah, it's a Slinky. Anybody ever played with a Slinky before? No. You're missing out, guys. You're missing out. I just need to tell you. But his story reminds me of a Slinky because it's like you flip one way and you flip another way, and it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right? Reminds me of a Slinky. So maybe you've come here tonight, though, and you're not familiar with this guy named Joseph, and you really have no idea what I'm talking about. So what I want to do in 60 seconds is I'm going to let you see a quick aerial view, a quick theme, a quick snapshot of the life of Joseph. And you're going to see in this clip just the different flips and twists and turns that took place in his life. And then we're going to talk about it. So y'all check this out. All right, gotta love it. Yeah, Maddie would love that video. I love, our British people. They do good videos. So that's a quick, funny, just humorous clip of the life of Joseph. And in it, you saw about 3 or 4 twists and flips, what I'll call flips tonight, in the life script and in the story of Joseph. And so what I want to do is very quickly, I just want to go back and I want to talk about 1 or 2 or 3 of those flips so that we can understand what we can get out of his story and how you can make a comeback and what you can learn from the life of Joseph. So the first flip that you saw is the fact that Joseph had some brothers and Joseph's brothers turn on him. Not only did they at first want to kill him, but then they thought they would just be nice to him, and so they ended up just throwing him in a pit and wanting to sell him to some traders that were just coming along the way. So you're having a bad day, y'all, when your siblings are wanting to sell you. Now, maybe some of you have thought that, okay? Like, I really could get some cash off a little sister, all right? But for real, they are not going to want to sell you. Joseph's having a bad day. His brothers want to kill him, and then they want to sell him. And things are not looking well, guys, for Joseph. And then flip number 2. If it couldn't get any worse, the fact that you're in this pit, your brothers had want to kill you, if it couldn't get any worse, flip number 2 happens, and that is that Joseph gets sold to traders, from the traders to a guy named Potiphar. Okay, he gets sold to this guy named Potiphar. So he's in this pit. Now he's with this guy named Potiphar who he's a slave for. And so he's working with him. So your brothers don't want you. The traders don't want you. So now you end up with another guy. You get sold again. Geez, could it get any better? Is it ever going to get any better for Joseph? And actually, it kind of does. The story starts changing just a little bit. In Genesis 39, 2 through 4, you're going to see it come up on the screen. And read along with me. It says, the Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did, not out loud to yourself, as he served in the home of his Egyptian master. Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. This pleased Potiphar, so he soon made Joseph his personal attendant. He put him in charge of the entire household and everything he owned. Okay, well, that's not bad. Things are looking up a little bit for Joseph, right? Things are starting to look a little better. He's getting some attention from his master, right? He's getting some attention from him. He's getting some leadership experience in his work. And no doubt he probably started getting better clothing, better food, better care. Okay, Jojo, he's doing good, right? He's not doing so bad. He's starting to gain attention from everybody. The only problem is that then you have kind of another flip in the script because he starts getting attention, as you saw in the video, from Potiphar's wife. And Miss Potiphar was not so cool because she wanted Joseph, and he was like, nuh-uh, I can't do that because you're my master's wife, and I can't turn on God that way. So no way, Jose, I'm not hooking up with you, Miss Potiphar. That is not cool. So she is irritated. She's fired up. She tells Potiphar that Joseph was trying to come on to her, completely lies to him. And then flip number 3. Joseph gets put in prison because Potiphar believes his wife. So now he goes from the pit to Potiphar to the prison. And he didn't even do anything. Have you ever been someplace where you get lied on and you have no idea what's going on? He didn't even do anything. He didn't even deserve it. But yet he's still there and he's found himself in this prison. Surely you can't come back from that. Surely things are getting so low that you can't come back from that. Or can you? Because while he was in the prison, he has these 2 guys. He has a baker, he has the cupbearer. They're hanging out with him in prison. They start having these really bad dreams. They need someone to interpret. Well, God had blessed Joseph with an ability to be able to interpret dreams. So Joseph's sitting right there. They're like, hey, will you help me out? I don't understand these dreams. So he interprets the dreams. Didn't end well for the baker. He actually got executed. But the cupbearer, he gets out of prison, and he's like, yay, thanks so much, Joseph. Awesome, awesome, awesome. He actually gets out of prison, and he returns to where he came from. He returned to his place where he had previously worked. And that was the king of Egypt, King Pharaoh, his palace. So cupbearer's on his way out of prison, and Joseph's like, hey, before you leave, will you just do me a quick favor? Like, you're getting ready to go hang around the king, guys. You're getting ready to go hang around the king. You're going to know a lot of people. Can you just name drop? Can you just put a good word in for me? Can you just say, hey, let's help this guy, my friend I met back here. Let's go on and get him out. Cupbearer's like, oh, yeah, awesome, got your back. Except for he didn't, and he forgot. And then Joseph is waiting another 2 years in prison for something that he didn't even do. Talk about a setback. Talk about some flips in your script. What in the world? How is he ever going to get out of that? Well, just so happens that the cupbearer, being at the king's palace, the king Pharaoh starts having some bad dreams. Sounds familiar? He starts having some bad dreams, and he needs someone to help him to interpret these dreams. Ding, ding, ding. Cupbearer's like, I know a guy. He helped interpret my dreams. I bet he can do that for you. So they get Joseph out of prison into the king's palace. He correctly interprets the dreams of King Pharaoh and gains favor in the eyes of the king, the one who owns it all and has everything. You see it here in Genesis 41. It says this, Joseph's suggestions were well received by Pharaoh, his interpretations, and his officials. So Pharaoh asked his officials, can we find anyone else like this man, so obviously filled with the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has revealed the meaning of the dreams to you, clearly no one else is as intelligent or wise as you. You will be in charge of my court, and all my people will take orders from you. Now that's a change. Only I, sitting on the throne, will have a higher rank than yours. Now that is a comeback. And I'm not even finishing Joseph's story tonight. Like, that's a comeback. That's like going from Alcatraz to being the VP of the United States within a matter of a couple days. Like, that's no joke. That's a comeback. Now, here's the question, Micah. What in the world does this have to do with you? Maybe you're thinking that. What in the world does this have to do with me? What can you take out of the life of Joseph that can help you in the flips that you're going to have in the script of your story? Because guess what? We're all going to have them. So what can you learn from Joseph? What can you take away? 2 things. There's so much, but I just want to focus on 2 things, and then we're going to get out of here. The first thing that you need to write down and you need to know about the life of Joseph is this. Faithfulness in the flips matter. I know that sounds funny. Faithfulness in the flips matter. We'll see it here in Genesis 39:2. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did as he what? Thank you. As he, say it aloud. As he served in the home of his Egyptian master. As he served. Guys, he's in one of the worst circumstances that he can find himself. And yet he is still focused on being faithful to God and serving, even when he didn't have any intention on being there. I can guarantee you that there's not many people sitting in this room tonight would probably have that reaction. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm in prison. Let me serve, you know? Like, that's not the first thing that's going to come to your mind. What are we going to do? We're going to whine. We're going to moan. We're going to complain. We're going to find any way, any excuse that we can to get out of the situation. But he was faithful because from the very beginning, he wanted to be faithful to God. And that continued no matter what the flip of his stories ended up being. He wanted to stay faithful to God. I mean, just think about it. Just think about even the game that I talked about just a minute ago. What if Jamal Mashburn, who was one of the players then, what if he would have quit after that loss? That's devastating. What if he would have quit after that loss and just been like, you know what, forget about this. I'll finish my season with Kentucky and just be done, right? He would have missed out on this next picture right here. He would have missed out on playing in the NBA. He's number 24, by the way, sitting next to Michael Jordan. He would have missed out on an NBA career playing with the greatest players of all time. But he stayed faithful. What if a girl named Bethany Hamilton, maybe you've heard about her before, what if she would have quit? I mean, y'all, she got her arm bit off by a shark. That's a bad day. Like that, there's no reason, like that's crazy. What if she would have quit after that and been like, you know what, I'm done with everything. This is not the way my script, I wanted it to be written. I'm not okay with it. But she didn't. She didn't, and God has given her a platform. She stayed faithful. She stayed faithful. So I'm here to tell you tonight to stay faithful in the flips of your script. To stay faithful in the flips. Yeah, maybe that low score on your test seems like it has you set back. Maybe you didn't anticipate that. You studied so hard and you did not anticipate that. And right now, you're going, what in the world? Here's the thing, don't quit. Don't quit studying just because of that. Don't stop. Stay faithful. Keep doing what you're doing because maybe next time it's going to get better. Maybe you didn't get selected for the all-star team this year, and that just rocks your world. That is not what you wanted to see coming. Maybe you didn't get picked for that all-star cheer select team. You just going to quit on everything because you didn't get something this year? Is everything okay? Don't quit. Stay faithful. Stay faithful. Don't quit practicing. What if maybe your best friend has moved on? Maybe your best friend has moved on and she's found a new friend or whatever. Are you just going to give up? No. Maybe there's someone else out there that needs your friendship. Stay faithful. Here's your action plan tonight for this first thing is to stay faithful no matter the circumstances. And the second and final thing that I want to tell you tonight is this. This is the most important thing, so I need everybody to be engaged. No messing around with your neighbors. We're a little active tonight. This is the most important thing that you could hear. So I need you to be all in. It's this, is that God is with you always. God is with you always, even in the setback. God is with you always, even in the setback. Genesis 39:2 says, the Lord was with who? Joseph. The Lord was with Joseph. Like I said, y'all, flips are going to happen, man. Yeah, they are. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. And who you have with you in those moments is the most important thing that can make you or break you. And so if you are a child of God tonight, if you have given your heart to Christ, if you have given your life to Him, you need to know that He is with you. That's a promise that you can bank on. He was with Joseph in the pit. He was with Joseph in Potiphar's. He was with Joseph in the prison. And he was with Joseph in the palace. And He is going to be with you. The good, the bad, the ugly. If you are a child of God, He is with you. Always. Even in the setbacks. Because I'm going to go ahead and tell you something. Is that it's usually is going to take you going through the pit and the prison to get to the palace. You don't just get to the end result automatically. That's just the way life works. Because it's through those things that God forms your character and He forms your heart and He reminds you that He is with you. And so here's my question to you tonight. How would your outlook on life change if you really believed that God was with you, even in the setbacks? What would your life look like? Would it look different if you really believed that? Not if you knew that here, but if you believed that here. What would your life look like, middle school student? Would you be any different by the circumstances, or would you be freaking out and every day when something doesn't go your way, we're worried, we're anxious, we're crying, we're upset every day when we don't get something? God is with you if you're a child of God. What is your life going to look any different from those that don't know Christ? I want to go back to this slinky for a minute. And here's the thing about this, is that my hands are controlling this, right? My hands have the ability to make it go really, really high, really, really low, really, really slow, or really, really fast. And it's not worried because I'm in control of it. I know the temperature. I know how much it can handle. I know how much it can stand because it's in my hands. And you need to know tonight that for some of you, your life feels like it may be a little out of control. It may feel that way. But you need to know that if you are a child of God, that you are in his hands. And he knows how much you can take, and he is with you. It may not feel good, but he knows and he promises, I've got you. If you'll let me be in control, I've got you. And so you can trust him because he is always with you. What I want to do tonight is Brando comes up and ends this time with us with a really good song that's so appropriate for actually what we're going into. I want to give you an opportunity to respond, because the song that he's about to sing is just the idea of saying, I am not alone. Some of you, maybe you feel alone. You feel like God is not with me. If you are a child of God and you have given your heart to him, you need to know you are not alone. He is with you. You're in his hands. Some of you tonight, we're going to have some adults that are going to be down front, and maybe you just need somebody to pray for you. Maybe you don't have to go into everything if you don't feel comfortable yet. Maybe you just are in one of those flips in your script, and you need somebody to just pray for you. Maybe some of you, you don't know whose hands you're in. You don't know what it's like to have a relationship with Jesus. You don't know the promise that God is with you always. You don't know that. That's very unfamiliar to you. Come talk to us about it. You have an opportunity tonight to respond in however that God leads you. So what I want you to do is I want you to just go ahead and stand up. And this is a serious time, okay? So I want you to stay focused, stay with me. And as adults are coming down, I'm going to pray us out. And then as Brandon sings,